Shia LaBeouf's crazy ass is back with another one, but everybody's been talking about it, so I figured I'd better see it. The Peanut Butter Falcon stars Shia LaBeouf, Dakota Johnson, and newcomer Zach Gottskin in a loosely based modern retelling of Mark Twain's Huckleberry Finn. This movie came out of nowhere. I'd never even heard of it. But then all of a sudden, everybody online was talking about the Peanut Butter Falcon and how you gotta see it. So, I went and saw it. And damn it, man, if they weren't right. This movie is amazing. This is one of the most heartfelt movies and genuinely sweetest movies I have probably ever seen. Some people will probably refer to it as a feel-good movie, which is an apt description because it does really make you feel good. That's not to say that every part of this movie is feel-good, because it definitely has parts that aren't. But the overall feel and tone of the movie is very hopeful, and it's very much about achieving things that everyone says that you can't, and rooting for the downtrodden. Damn it, this movie just makes you feel so good. As mentioned before, the movie is a loosely based modern retelling of Huckleberry Finn. It follows a young man named Zach with autism who lives in a nursing home who has aspirations to one day become the greatest wrestler ever. I know, it sounds a little weird, but just stay with me. Zach escapes the nursing home and meets up with Shia LaBeouf's Tyler, who's also on the run from some people and his past. The two form an unlikely friendship and embark on a grand adventure to get Zach to a wrestling school in the Deep South. For fear of spoiling things, I don't want to say much more, but just know that this is a story very much about growth. The growth of a friendship and ultimately a family between two unlikely people, and also their individual growth and how the two help each other with that. The performances in this movie are some of the best I've seen in a long time, especially from LaBeouf and Gottskin. Dakota Johnson does a good job with the time she's given here as well, but the stars of the show are definitely Shia LaBeouf and Zach Gottskin. Their relationship is one of the most pure and believable put to film thus far. You will want these two to succeed in their journey more so than any other duo in the history of film. These are two of the most genuine, believable performances I've seen in a long time. Both are Oscar-worthy performances, and if they're snubbed this year, then there's something wrong in the world. All the other side characters in the movie do a really good job here too. They're all very interesting and very Coen Brothers-esque, which is to say that they all have a very interesting, quirky feel to them. Every time these two happen across a new character, you're just waiting to see what kind of outlandish thing they're gonna say or do. And each time it's extremely satisfying and entertaining. The movie was really unexpectedly funny too. And while yeah, it did have some sight gags to it, the majority of the humor comes from our two leads. Now I know what you're thinking, and no, you're not laughing at the kid because he has autism. Not once was that played for laughs. The majority of the comedy comes from their relationship and as it grows, and the way that the two interact together. Yeah, Zach does say some things that are pretty funny, and probably because he does have autism, but you're never laughing at the fact that he has autism. And the movie's never really playing to that either. In fact, a big theme in the movie is don't treat him differently just because he does have autism. He can achieve what he wants to in life and what everyone else can, despite the fact of his handicap. It's a really great message and portrayed on screen in a fantastically heartwarming way. But yes, there are parts of this movie that are funny as hell. Like laugh out loud funny as hell. There's one scene in particular, a little closer to the beginning of the movie, involving a kid and a swimming hole and Shia LaBeouf. And something he does to this kid is very unexpected, and honestly something we've all dreamed about in movies like this, but we never expect. But when it happens, the movie doesn't even make a big deal about it. It just happens and you just laugh your ass off about it. And the movie just goes on and doesn't dwell on it. It's a funny as hell scene, and I laughed about it for a few minutes after it happened. Now while the movie is funny as hell a lot of the time, I wouldn't really classify it as a comedy. I would classify this more as a drama with comedic elements in it. Now those comedic elements are funny as hell, don't get me wrong, but it is still more at its heart a drama. And believe me, you are not prepared for how attached to these characters you will become. And when they or their quest is put in danger, how much that will affect you. Which brings me to one of the best things about this movie. Its heart. Now don't get me wrong, a lot of movies have heart, and there's tons of movies out there we can all point the finger at and say that was a very heartfelt moment, and I cried at the end when that thing happened. But what this movie doesn't do is it never exploits that heartfelt emotional connection that you, the viewer, have. Most movies like this would use that to its benefit, and at some point it would crank up the emotion to elicit the tears for everyone in the audience. I myself think that's kind of a cheap way to elect an emotional response out of people. You can have a deeply affecting emotional response to something without bawling your eyes out over it. A lot of these types of movies don't really understand that though. They're going for the tears, and you know it's coming in most movies. movies. And it's always just kind of come across as a bit cheap to me. But not the Peanut Butter Falcon. They do not do that. And believe me, they definitely had the opportunity to. The movie's never cheap like that. It definitely elects these emotional responses. And it puts our characters in situations that lesser movies would go for the cheap shot with. But it never lowers itself to that level. It allows you to have that emotional response without cheaply trying to wring every tear out of your head. And it's a better movie and story for it. It feels all the more real and genuine because of this, and me myself really appreciated them taking that high ground. Guys, this movie was one of the best movies I have seen in a long time. And it doesn't involve a ton of action and a bunch of explosions and the most grandiose story ever. It doesn't rely on a franchise or a ton of movies that came before it to set it up, nor is it setting up some big sequel or franchise or universe. No, it's just a little standalone movie that is fantastically acted and has more heart than you will find in pretty much any other movie you'll ever see. I was satisfied on pretty much every front when I walked out of this movie. The characters, the humor, the drama, the ending, everything hit just right. And this was absolutely one of the best movies I have seen in a long time. You owe it to yourself to go see this movie right now. Don't wait for video. Go see it right now. And I guarantee when you walk out of the theater, you will feel absolutely great about this movie and just about life in general. Because The Peanut Butter Falcon is one of the best movies out there, and it is absolutely a unicorn. Better yet, it's a spectabulous unicorn. Yeah. I don't care how it sounds. I think that's going to be a thing now. Please go support this small movie, guys. I guarantee you will not be disappointed. This is one of the greats. And people are going to be talking about it for years to come. I guarantee it. So there it is, guys. My review of The Peanut Butter Falcon. If you enjoyed and want more content like this, hit that subscribe button and help my little channel grow. If you liked what I had to say, give me a thumbs up. If not, let me know in the comments below why. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.
One, don't slow me down. Rule number 2, I'm in charge. Hey, what's rule number 1? Party? No, not party.
Where the fuck is all this peanut butter coming from? I swear I did not buy any of this peanut butter for this review. It was just all in my cabinet. I don't know what's going on here. I think we have a problem. I went to look for one jar for the review and there's like 10. Why? Why is there so much peanut butter in my pantry? I don't know. Oh no.